Good morning from wherever you're joining. Good morning, Africa. Good morning, Canada. Good morning, America. Good morning, London. Good morning, Asia. Good morning, world. Good morning. I am super excited to have you join us at this year's Repossess Virtual Conference. I can't believe that the day has come already. Today is the 8th of January, 2022. And we're excited to host you to another edition of the Repossess Virtual Conference. This conference has been designed to empower people so that they can bloom in the pandemic. This conference has been designed to help you go through the pandemic unscathed. This conference has been designed to help you resuscitate your business regardless of the inflation and all the challenges and restrictions around businesses. This conference has been designed and curated to help you take charge of your mental health and well-being. This conference has been designed to help you live your best life. This conference has been designed to help you flourish in adversity. This conference has been designed to help you hack productivity. This conference has been designed to empower you so that you can jump into the driver's seat of your life. I'm honored to be your host, Bashira Abdul Wahab. The inspiration to do Repossess Virtual Conference came to me in 2020. And since then, I haven't stopped. I haven't stopped from the Repossess Virtual Conference 2021, which was a huge success, to the Repossess Art of Forgiveness, the Repossess Art of Happiness, the Repossess Reclaim Your Worth, to the Repossess Take Back Your Power coaching program. And I am so honored to have a host of other people who actually believe in helping more people take back their power and jump into the driving seat of their life. So if this is you guys, you are here, we need to know where you are joining from. My name is Rashida and I'm joining from Nigeria. Where are you tuning in from? My name is Rashida and I'm joining from Nigeria. I'm hosting you live and direct from Nigeria. Thanks to technology, I can speak to anybody anywhere in the world, and I can share my influence, I can share information, I can empower people, I can keep people informed, I can help people live their best life from the comfort of my office, from the comfort of my home, from wherever that I am, thanks to technology and the internet. So if you're watching us right now, we need to know, where are you joining from? Hello, thank you so much. Zachary is joining from Nigeria, Abuja. We have another Nigerian here in the house. Okay, welcome and thank you for joining us. Would really appreciate that if you're here live and that you can see me and you can hear me. We need you to share this live link to the people or with the people that you care about. So thank you so much. I have with me right now in the studio and behind the scene, Patricia Uda. And I'm just going to bring Patricia Uda on stage before I go on to do my own session, which is a very, very brief session. And then we have our next speaker. We have Farida Yahya, who's going to teach us about how we can resuscitate and rebuild our businesses regardless of the inflation of the pandemic and all of the negative effect that has been keeping a lot of businesses lame and packing up. And after her, we have a host of other speakers as well coming on board this morning. So you're in for a treat. We have Joseph Pokwe, who is joining us from Libya. We have Patricia Uda, who is joining us from Nigeria. We have Nina, they're coming up later in the day. So you're in for a treat. Really, you're in for a treat, and this is going to be an amazing ride. So, Patricia, are you ready? Are you ready to join me here? Hi, Patricia. Hello, Patricia. Hello, Patricia. Okay, so while we wait for Patricia, we are just going to, hello, good morning. Fantastic. Hi, Patricia.
Hello, Coach Bashi. I'm super excited today.
Tell us, Patricia, what are you bringing on today? Hi, guys. Hello, everyone. Meet Patricia Uda. Patricia has to be one of the most consistent life coaches that I have met. Like the moment she decided she was going to venture into this thing called life coaching, she just went all the way and she's never looked back. Thank you so much, Patricia, for the value, for the way that you are committed to helping more women to flourish in adversity. I am really proud of you because seriously, last year Patricia was a participant at this conference. Like you cannot imagine. Like I'm blown away by the transformation that Patricia had allowed herself to immerse through, and she's coming to just spew value. So you need to just recline and chill because Patricia is coming on later today and she's just going to spew value. And you cannot miss that. Thank you so much, Patricia. Thank you. Gonna
Thank
be hi
you.
Farida.
Thank
Hi
you. Thank
Farida.
you.
Hello Farida. Hello Farida. Hello Farida. Hi Farida. Okay. So why Farida is coming about? Farida is somebody I've known for quite some time now, and she's dedicated her life and her work to ensuring that small businesses or startup businesses that are owned by women thrive. She is a powerhouse, and you can never go wrong with talking to Farida about your business, especially because she has been running Lumo Naturals for a very long time now, and it has been an amazing success. By the way, Lumo Natural is and what you call it is a natural hair care salon or business and a natural hair care product range that are committed to helping African women, be confident in their natural hair, and they're doing amazing work. I personally use their products and they're one of our partners for this conference, and we're so excited and honored to have Farida here because she has a wealth of experience that she's going to be sharing with us this morning. So welcome, Farida. Welcome, Farida. Welcome, Farida. And we also have Kenneth. Kenneth is behind the scene, but I'm just gonna bring him on board so you can just say hi, hello. Kenneth is like one of my main guy behind the scene, making setting the table, making things work, ensuring that everything is going on well. Thank you so much, Kenneth, for your commitment. Thank you for your drive. Thank you for keying into the vision. God bless you, Kenneth, for all you do for us here. We love you so much. Okay, I'm gonna put Kenneth back behind the studio. I know he doesn't want to even be here. Don't worry. Okay, fantastic. So while every other speaker is coming, because once I'm done with my session again is going to be very brief. And today I'd like to share with you how you can live your best life. So join me for a quick ride. Fantastic. Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us for this edition of Repossess Virtual Conference. My name is Bashir Abdul Wahab, and I'm excited to share my own beats with you. And today, I want you to come with an open mind because whatever I'm sharing today, most of them are as a result of my own life lessons and those, lessons I picked from my own experiences and all of that. So I'm just gonna share some of that with you, and I'm hopeful that you would find what I share with you today beneficial. So join me. You already know who I am, but if you do not, I'm a life transition coach, I'm a grief recovery counselor, I'm a trainer and author, and I am a humanitarian on a daily. So have we met before? A lot of people know me, but they don't know who I am. I think it's so important because for everything that I do and even the information that I've decided to share with you today, it is because that I have gone through a journey and I still on that journey. And well, my journey has not been straight, right? It's not been a smooth ride. It's been bumpy. I've had a lot of challenges. I've experienced a lot of loss. I've gone through so much grief and trauma, so much betrayal. At some point, I was severely traumatized and depressed. So it was a whole lot of journey. But I remember that in 2016, I made a decision to take back my power. I made a decision that whatever it was that I had gone through, it was time to put them behind me where they belong. And I made a decision that those pains were going to be a means to purify me, and that the stumbles were going to be a means to strengthen me, and that the failures or whatever things that I failed at or I didn't do, whatever regrets that I had, you know, I knew that those failures were there to fortify me. So it was an amazing journey, from losing the most important people in my life to going through very tough stages of grief to wanting to ditch my master's degree. It was a whole lot. So I've been through a lot of mess, and coming out and getting help. Again, I must say that I didn't get here all by myself. I didn't find myself doing Repossess Virtual Conference um, by myself. I didn't it wasn't a one man thing. I couldn't have done any of this all by myself. I got a lot of help. And it's so important because I acknowledge the role that these people played. One of the first experience or exposure to Help the Right God was actually finding a professor of engineering in Malaysia who taught emotional intelligence online. And that was where the whole thing started. So the whole thing started when I had information that changed my life. It changed the way that I thought about my predicament, about my losses and my grief and the trauma that I was going through and the depression and everything that I was going through at that time. It taught me to manage my emotions and take power. And it was a life changer, like a lot of shifts happened. And then, I went on to get into therapy. I've gone on. And when I came out a better person, I realized that a lot of people were going through so much, just as what I was going through. And it became important to empower myself and to get trained and certified and equipped so that I can help more people to live their best life, more people to live beyond their pain, more people to find a purpose in their pain, more people to live their best life. And that's how we got here. Yeah. So let's talk about it. So who are you and why are you here? Oftentimes, I get to sit with a lot of people, my clients, and most of which are women, and I'm asking them, who are you? And, you know, why are you here? And oftentimes, a lot of people describe themselves as being a mother. They say I'm a sister, I'm a wife, I am a medical doctor, I am So I get a lot of people describe themselves as that, but we are more than that. And when we talk about it, when we ask you who are you, we're asking who are you at the core of you. So we're asking you, who are you at the core of you? Who are you without the labels? Who are you without the titles? Who are you if you are not a mother or a sister or a daughter or an aunt or a businesswoman or an entrepreneur or a medical doctor or an architect? Who are you at the core? What's your personality? Where are you coming from? What are your traits? What are the things that you desire? What are the things that make you happy? What's the nature of who you are? And then why are you here? So I get to ask people again a lot of these questions of why are you here? And for many of them, they don't even know why they are here. Many of them know they need to find the reason for being, but they struggle. And that's why I realize so many people are unhappy because they don't get to do what they are supposed to be doing. And so it's important that people understand why they are here. What's your purpose? What's your purpose? What's your purpose? What are you living for and why are you here? We all have ultimate purposes, right? Born into a Muslim family as a Muslim, the ultimate purpose for me in life is to worship Allah, you know. But how, through what path would I be able to worship God? Would I be able to worship the God that I believe in? My own creator is through the work that you do. So when you think about that, you would realize that even the work that you do can be a kind of a worship. It could be a means to worshiping God. It could be a means to pleasing God, however that you say. But what's your own ultimate purpose? But that's me sharing mine. What's your own ultimate purpose? Who are you and why you're here? And if you've never at any point in time sit down to think about it, then it's about time to think about it. But one of the ways by which you can really realize who you are and why you're here is when you discover your talent or you discover your purpose. Back in the days, I used to be a very crafty person. So I used to love to learn anything that I could do with my hands. And I was always looking forward to the holidays because that was always an opportunity for me to go learn a new skill, to go learn something new somewhere. And my father, a blessed memory, used to wonder, like, which one is your own again? Especially when I said I wanted to learn how to sew. That was like E for him. I'd be like, now wow, she don't come again, But even before I told him, I'd already looked up where I was going to do my apprenticeship. I'd already looked up all of those details and what it was going to cost. All I did was, Daddy, I found a place I'm going to start learning to sew. And be like, I'd be like, Daddy, I want you to follow me so you can see the place. And be like, So for me, the things that give me joy or the things that are my talent to be able to help people, whether it's hand skills on or whether it's talking to people, whether it's counseling them or teaching them. My own purpose is to help people be their highest potential, live their best life. That's my own purpose. Helping them realize that they can live beyond the pain, beyond their trauma, beyond their agony, beyond their loss or grief, beyond their whatever it is with life challenges that they're going through. And I find a lot of joy in this because this is what happens when you're living in tune with your purpose. You find a lot of joy doing what you do because you're in your natural space, like you're free flowing and doing what you are designed to do. And you are going to enjoy a lot of peace and a lot of joy. Right. How do you live your best life? Be curious and be a lifelong learner. I cannot remember a week or a day or something that doesn't go without me trying to learn something. Either I'm trying to read a book or watching a YouTube video or, picking up a lesson or two from, somebody I follow on Instagram and all of that. If you are a learner, you're most likely going to be someone who is resourceful, right? And the best way to live your best life is when you are a resourceful person in whatever area, whatever niche that you've decided you're going to be at, wherever you say you're going to be at, whatever you're going to be doing, whatever you're deciding to do with your life, you need to be resourceful in that area. And the only way you can be resourceful in that area is when you're a curious learner and you've made yourself a lifelong learner. So, are you a lifelong learner? What do you learn about? When you say something is important to you, then you need to commit to learning from it. For me, I say meditation is important to me because it keeps me grounded. And I have committed to meditating daily. I've been meditating now aggregatively, who says, since 2016. But, my last milestone as of today is that I've been meditating for 221 days straight, right? So if you say you're excited about something or something is your area of interest, then we should find you reading books about those things. We should find you watching documentaries, perhaps about those things. We should find you following people who are ahead of you doing the same or similar things. We should find you asking questions about it. We should find you doing things around that because that is how you build your competency and that is how you become resourceful. And when you become resourceful, people can look up to you as a person of authority because they'll be like, God, he's a powerhouse. He knows these onions. So living your best life means being a curious learner. It's so important. Another thing that everybody needs to learn to do is to hack their thoughts, hack their emotions, and hack their body. I remember, again, I'll take you back to 2016 because that was like the most, 2015, 2016, the most significant year of my life. And I remember that the thoughts that used to dominate my mind were, my life is such a mess. How did I get here? Where am I going to start from? How do I go through this pain? This is too much for me to bear. I am tired of everything. Those were the thoughts that came to me continuously, all the time. It was difficult. It was tormenting. It was painful. It was the and but because all that I did was ruminate on my past experiences. Everything I did was I ruminated my past experiences. I ruminated on what wasn't working. I ruminated on what wasn't going well. I ruminated on all of that. Then what I experienced was more of that. I experienced more of pain and more of grief and more of sadness. And it was dragging me back because I could not live my best life because all that I did was focus on what wasn't working. I was focusing on what wasn't there, you know. And if you've read my book, Dispossessed, you will read at the beginning where I say your miracle is not in what you have lost, but in what you have left. What do you have left? Where do you start from? What can you focus on? Remember to say, whatever you focus on expands. It's so true. Sometimes they say, oh, all those philosophers and all these theories. But seriously, when you look at it, it's so true that whatever you focus on expands. If you focus on doing your best, you will see that you begin to do better. If you focus on studying for your exams, is the likelihood that you are going to pass. If you focus on tidying your space will be tidy. If you focus on learning about your business, yes. If you commit time to growing your business and building a team, you would see the result. Whatever you commit to is the result that you get. And most of the time, what we commit to generates an emotion. Again, because we are emotional beings, that when you focus on something for too long, it generates an emotion which spurs you to action. Now, think about it. Think about, I want you to go to a time where all you were thinking about was a certain thing, whatever it is, and you felt a certain way. You went ahead to do something that you think is going to generate a feeling. And we often act from a place of emotion, but you need to learn to hack your emotions. So let's talk about being angry, for instance. Anger is a valid emotion. It's not a good or bad emotion. It's just an unpleasant emotion. And anybody is prone to being angry depending on what the trigger is. We all have our triggers. We all have our mumu buttons. You know what we call it here. We all have our mumu buttons. So everybody is prone to being angry. Now think about being angry and think about how you can express being angry in a more empowering way rather than in an aggressive way. Think about how you can respond to the emotion of anger. That is you hacking your thoughts, hacking your emotions, because you can decide that, oh, I am hungry, and you can decide you're going to smash your phone, or that you're going to slap the person that triggers you to be angry. But it is not, again, the fault of the person who triggered your anger. How you behave is not their fault. How you choose to respond is not their fault. What they said to you, yeah, is their fault. How you choose to respond is not their fault. So you want to respond to situations in empowering ways. So that's why it's important for you to think, for you to pause, think, act. Pause, think, act. When you move your ways, you move what you feel, and you begin to question how you feel. And you ask yourself questions like, why am I angry? Or why am I sad? Why can I not be peaceful in the face of a frustrating situation? Why am I grumpy today? What is making me unhappy this moment? What is making me angry this moment? And then you're able to sit down and logically decide how you choose to respond. So you hack your actions when you begin to question the way that you feel at every point in time. And this is what emotional intelligence teaches, that you have the power to totally take charge of your life and decide how you want to behave in the situation. And these are habits that you already have, that you've been doing, that you've been repeatedly doing, and that you have been, they were not serving you. They were they were not furthering your cause. They're not empowering. What are they? It's empowering you to sit down and see what happens. What makes me to act this way? What emotions are attached to this action? What thoughts are attached to this action? How can I begin to hack the thoughts and the feelings and the action so that I can create something better, a better result, a desirable result for myself. Until you change the way that you do things, the things that you do will never change. And so many of us want things to change for the better, but we are not fixing the way that we do the things that we want to change. And let's say the way that you do the things that you want to change is not the way that you're running your life right now. Think about it. That's deep, right? But most importantly, you need to hack your body. I remember in the days when I used to be very, very melancholic because of my experiences. And I find myself just sitting alone. I find myself crying once nobody was there. I find myself locking up myself in the room most of the time. I find myself not eating, not doing the basic things I was going to do. It was basically just depressing, just there. But I learned something that changed it for me. And I learned that I could take charge of how I felt in the moment just by taking charge of my body. Right now, if you feel sad, and then and then I come here and I play music, and I say, let's dance. You could simply change how you feel right now from being sad to being excited just when just at the play of the music. Yeah, just at the play of the music that gets you excited. And meaning, if you know this, meaning you know that at every point in time, you have the power to switch. You have the power to switch from being sad to being happy, joyful, serene, peaceful, loving, all stuff. Like, go ahead. So whenever I realize that I'm in this mood that I don't want to be, I I get my body to work. I take my body from that situation to a situation that is more exciting, more empowering, more joyful, more peaceful. But I ensure that I'm just taking charge of my body, and that has helped me a lot, a lot. Now thinking about living your best life, and then you're not investing in yourself, and that's a disservice. You need to invest in yourself, and there's so many ways by which you can invest in yourself. Invest in the quality, the kind of associations, the kind of people that you're around them. Invest in the kind of places that you go to. Invest even in the kind of clothes that you wear, the kind of information that you consume, the kind of books that you read, the kind of movies that you watch, the kind of people you follow on social media. It's a whole lot. And so when you think about investing in yourself, you'd realize that it's a holistic thing. Are you investing in your mind? Are you investing in your health and well-being? Are you investing in your mental well-being? Are you investing in the quality of the value that you bring to the table? What are you spending money on? And that's the way to know whether you're doing it right. When we check your debits and then we see what you're spending money on, it shows us the things that you value and the things that you see as important. If I show you my debit right now, you're going to see a lot of debits, from Zoom debits to StreamYard debits to an online course debits to something something debits, that before you will see a splurge debit. Before you see a debit for a new handbag or a new pair of shoes, you're going to see a host of debits, that has to do with the work I do, learning, boots, things like that. So what you spend your money on? When we look at your debit alerts, we are able to see how much are you investing in yourself. Are you investing in physical looks, or are you investing in becoming a person of value so that you can do better at life? Oh well, that's it. What you investing on? Another way where you can really truly live your best life is when you decide that you're going to live in the moment and then you're going to be present for yourself and connect on a deeper spiritual level. Most of the time, we don't live our best life because we are here right now, but we are thinking about somebody that hurt us in the past. And we are here right now. We are so anxious about something that is yet to come, a day that is yet to come, a thing that is yet to happen, a future we absolutely have no power over. Do you find yourself in this situation whereby you are constantly thinking about something in the past or being anxious about something that is yet to come? And because of that, you are wasting the moment. You are not here. You are not living. Because if you find yourself either in the past or in the future, what meaning you're losing the moment. It's called a present because being here is a gift. Being here right now, this moment is a gift. I needed to put it in the comments. Say being here is a gift. Say being here right now is a gift. Being here right now is a gift. I will be present for myself. Yeah, beautiful affirmations. Please, guys, put it in the comments. I want to see it. I will be present for myself. Being here right now, this moment, is a gift. I will be present for myself. Awesome. So what are you doing with your moment? What are you doing moment to moment? Because when you do this moment, you translate into what happens next moment, and next moment, and the next moment. And so you can literally create your life experiences by the way that you choose to spend your time and every moment and every minute that you've been blessed with. We look at all the successful people. We're looking at Dangote, we're looking at Brian Tracy, looking at Bill Gates, looking at the Salam Rabiu, looking at the top guys there everywhere, Tony Elumelu, looking at Oprah Winfrey, looking at all of those guys, right? We're looking at them, we're like, oh my God, you're successful. Oh my God, I look forward to them like they're my models, they're my role models. Oh my God, I love the way that they're living their life. Yes, but what are you making of your life in this moment? What are you doing with the present moment? Are you just there be like, oh my God, I want to be like Oprah, I want to be like Bill Gates, or I want to be like Dangote? Whoever Dangote has become today is because he invested moment to moment every day and put in the work. Dangote got a loan of 100,000 naira from his uncle to start a business. And today we know the rest of the story, that he's the richest man in Africa. But that was like years of work. It was years of sweat. It was years of tenacity. And Dangote doesn't have more than 24 hours because he is rich or privileged does not give him an extra time in the day. We all have the same 24 hours, and we can all choose to decide how we are going to spend every minute of the 24 hours that we all have been blessed with. And so time is a gift. There is liberal, there is a cross board, there is available to everyone. But again, it's a gift that we waste or we put to waste the most. So what would you do with every moment that comes? Every minute that you're blessed with, every minute that you get to breathe. Again, being here is a gift, right? That's our mantra. Being here is a gift. Guys, it's almost impossible that you want to live your best life, but you have grudges. You cannot. It's not like a curse, but if you bear a lot of grudges and you have a lot of resentment against people, and you are somebody who is holding so many things tied to your chest, you are unforgiving, it's going to drag you back. It's going to drag you back because resentment, grudges, anger, suppressed anger, guilt, shame, regret, all of those things have been proven to actually do cause us more harm than good. Meaning, most of the time, we say we want to be our best, that we want to flourish, we want to be happy, but deep down, we are still holding on to things that make us really unhappy. We are still doing things that make us really sad. We are still unforgiving of certain situations of the past. We still feel guilty for a particular mistake where we just messed up, like we messed up at something, right? So it's so important that you forgive and let go. What are the ways by which you can start to forgive yourself? Is by to show yourself some compassion and realize that you're just human, albeit imperfect. And then also be empathetic towards other people, knowing that they are also human, albeit imperfect. Like we're all in this game of imperfection together, right? There was nobody that was born perfect. And even God knows that He created us imperfect. So, man, you make room for people and you make excuses for people, but most importantly, recognizing that when you forgive, it is not as if you're letting the offender off the hook. It's because you deserve peace and you deserve joy and you deserve to live a more blissful life. And if you want to be able to flourish and operate at your best self, then you might want to start to explore forgiving more often today. Nurture healthy relationships. And I think this is one of my favorite parts because we basically, as human beings, cannot do anything all by ourselves. We came through a family, we grow in a community, we are exposed to so many environments, we go to school. I still have relationships from school that were thriving, primary school, secondary school, university, master's level, you know whatever relationships that you're going to stay in, then they need to be empowering relationships, but they don't become empowering and beautiful and beneficial if you do not nurture those relationships, right? So when you tell people you care about them, even if they are your family members, if you do not nurture the ties of kinship, you realize you begin to fall apart. And it's the same thing for every kind of relationship, be it romantic, marital relationships, be it work relationships, be it business relationships, whatever kind of relationships. Because I, for one, I am proof that quality associations can literally move you faster, right? So you know somebody who knows somebody who can help you. You know somebody who knows somebody who has information to something. You know somebody who can teach you something that can literally transform your life. You know somebody who knows somebody who wants to help. You know, you are not an island. We are not islands, so we cannot totally do everything by ourselves. But when we nurture healthy and quality relationships, we can use these relationships as stepping stone to do better in life, to become happier, more fulfilled person, to be able to achieve our dreams and goals faster because we are chilling with the right people. And they say if you are or if you are in the midst of five billionaires, then you'll be the sixth billionaire in the room. Thinking about quality of associations, right? And quality of association and the way that associations or relationships actually influence us is by simple things. emotional contagion, attitudinal contagion. And that's why I like to be with people who laugh and smile a lot. Yeah, who seriously can just let their hair down, who know their stuff. I want to be around people whose energy infects me positively. And I want to be able to infect other people with a certain kind of aura or energy so that they are happy to be around me. These are relationships that thrive. You don't want to be around people. Have you ever been, do you have somebody in your life that once you are with them, is trouble? They have one complaint or the other. They're ranting about one thing or the other. They're gossiping about one thing or the other, one person or the other. You don't want that kind of people in your life. You want people who bring in a positive aura. You want people who can infect you, who can bring on your aura, their positive vibe, your the joy, who can share those things with you, who can bring on their attitudes, can infect you, their positive habits. They can infect you with their positive habits. They can infect you with their billionaire habits. You get what I'm saying? Where I'm coming from? But seriously, guys, you can never do it wrong if you nurture healthy, quality relationships and associations. Eat well, sleep well, laugh a lot, stay fit. Oh my God, I know we all know all of this, don't we? We do. We do. We do. We do. That we know that when we eat well, it's going to ultimately affect our productivity, and our productivity can be better. When we sleep well, we are more refreshed to do better things. We're more creative and inspired. When we laugh a lot, they say laughter is the best medicine. We are able to be more positive and joyful person. And sometimes I just sit and laugh all by myself. When somebody is around, they be like, is this one well? They don't understand that maybe perhaps in that moment I was drifting into a very bad mood and I just realized, let me just make something, do something that gets me excited all by myself so I can just hack my emotion in that moment. But most importantly, staying fit. And staying fit doesn't mean going to the gym to kill yourself. Not everybody needs to lose weight, especially if you're on the, if you're on my side, not everybody needs to lose weight, but you can stay fit because when exercise helps you to stay mentally and emotionally strong. And that's really very important because health is wealth. And when you're well, you're able to live your best life. Be consistent. Whatever you want to do, stay at it. We have been doing Repossess for 2 years now, and that's because we stayed at it. We stayed at it. I've been doing quite a lot of work. I've been writing for 5 years now. That's because I stayed at it. Whatever it is that you feel that you believe in, you need to be consistent. Consistency is the way that you see the fruit of your labor. The farmer goes to the farm, he sows a seed. He doesn't expect that the seed will germinate and then the fruits will it will bear fruits that day or even the next week. But the farmer goes back to the farm every day to tilt the land, to weed the farm, to water the plant, to put some manure. The farmer nurtures it and then it grows. Whatever that you nurture and you stay with grows, it expands, it evolves, it becomes something beautiful. So what are you staying with? What is that thing you want to commit to this year that you want to consistently do? And so that with that consistent, you would see at the end of it, you see a result that makes you happy. You see that, oh, so this is the result of what I've been doing. But oftentimes we start something and we drop it quarter way and we say it's not working. There is no result. You can get result if you don't stay with it long enough. Just like the farmer cannot harvest fruits or plants if he doesn't nurture his farmland, he doesn't cultivate, he doesn't take care of it, he doesn't weed it. If he just comes today, plant, and then waka and go, and then comes back in 3 months and say it's harvest time, he will most likely come to meet the animals have gone into the farm, rustle it, or perhaps maybe birds or anything could have happened. Say that maybe the plant stopped because there was not enough water. So you see, whatever you want to be, or whatever more you feel that's important to you, then you need to stay at it. You need to stay at it because that's the only way that you see the result. Do it afraid. Seriously, even before I came live, I had a bit of anxiety over how it's this gonna turn out. And all of the people that you see and admire, the things that they do, that you feel like, I want to be like this person. It is not the absence of fear, it is because they choose to do it regardless of fear. We all feel fear at every point in time. And again, this is a very valid emotion. And sometimes when you feel fear, it is a sign that you need to learn more, you need to equip more, you need to do something, you need to add up, reduce, whatever. But again, sometimes you've even done all that you want to do, and then you come off stage and you're feeling like, can the earth just open so I can enter? But again, you say, I am going to do it anyway. So do it afraid. It's never going, it's not always easy, but it is always worth it. Thank you so much for listening to all my gists. What is that a gist? Whatever you call it. But those are the ways that I have found and lessons that I've learned to my own short journey. Um, on how you can live your best life. And I hope that you found that really beneficial. If that was beneficial to you, share, share, share. Keep sharing, share this link with other people so they can catch the replay. But most importantly, you can leave me your comments, your questions in the comments, and I'll be glad to answer them. And we can connect. Let's connect on social media at the Bashirat on Instagram, and you can look up my website, bashirat.com. And thank you so much for coming. Thank you. And I hope to see you in the next session, as very soon we're going to bring on Farida Yahya, who is going to teach us on how we can resuscitate our business in a pandemic. Hi, Farida. Are you here? Can you hear me? Okay, right now our next uh speaker, Farida Yahya. Farida Yahya is someone who I admire a lot because of her tenacity and the way she stays through with her work, especially at Nouveau Nigerians and the Brief Academy. Today, Farida Yahya is going to be speaking with us on how we can resuscitate our business in this pandemic. Farida, are you here? Hello, Farida. Okay, so we're waiting for Farida. While Farida is coming, I'd like to introduce Farida. Okay, we're waiting for Farida. Hey, Farida. Hello, Farida. Hey, Farida. Hello, Farida. Okay. So, Farida, while she's trying to come on, I hope her network treats us nicely. Farida Yahya is the founder of the Brief Academy, a social entrepreneur, a published author, and an active citizen. She's committed to building and empowering local communities through enterprise development while working as a program coach with the Future Females Empowerment Initiative under the UK aid-funded business school program. She has helped to improve the business model and team building strategy of early-stage female-owned tech-enabled businesses in Nigeria. Over the past 6 years, Farida has impacted over 800 women and 200 startups. She does this by providing a sustainable digital learning experience that enables female founders from underserved communities to build scalable businesses, fulfill their potential, and lead happy lives. Farida has a background in biochemistry and business development with 9 years working experience. She volunteers as a career mentor for several groups, including Skills Outside School Foundation, the Northbridge Foundation, Yali, RLC, and the U.S. State Department ECA funded our program. You can find Farida on Twitter and Instagram as at the Farida. Make welcome Farida. Hi, Farida. Hello, Farida. Hi, Farida. Okay. Hi.
Hi, can you hear me now? Okay, but I can't hear you. I don't know why. This is crazy. Uh, are you on
Yes,
mute?
loud and clear. Can you hear
Okay,
me?
okay. So, Alhamdulillah.
Awesome.
I was getting worried.
Alhamdulillah,
I
we have
wanted to start
Farida here.
doing all the du'as that I know to send the devil
Alhamdulillah.
away.
Yes, so devil is a liar. Devil is a liar. Okay, so guys, sit
Oh my
up. We
goodness.
have Farida here. Finally, she's able to join us, and today she'll be sharing with us how we can resuscitate our business in this pandemic. Farida, take it away because I'm just going to go behind the scene and let you do your thing.
Thank you so much, Coach Bashi. Good morning, everyone. It is so exciting to start off the new year like this. Um, when I got the invitation to come and speak and I saw the topic, I was like, well, we're still in the pandemic. We're still, figuring it out. A lot of us are still figuring it out. But one of the things that I've learned on this journey is that, you know, it's very, very easy to get caught up in yourself and the process that you're in, not realizing that people can actually still benefit from, your process and the information that you've been able to gather so far. And also, imposter syndrome is something that I've struggled with on and off, especially in the last year or in the last 2 years. So this is really me pushing myself to fight it as much as I can. And also, this is me, hoping that, this what I'm learning or my learning process is going to help someone to be able to sort of come out of whatever fix they find themselves. So before I start, let me do a proper introduction. I'm sure Coach Bashi has introduced me, and I'm sure that if you have been part of the communication process of the conference, you've probably seen a few things about me. By way of introduction, one of the things that I say is that I believe that I am a timeless learner, right? I'm a lifelong learner. I love to learn, but more importantly, as I learn, I love to give. So when I talk about learning, I'm not talking about just the formal type of learning, but also learning with your environment, learning with the people that you're coming in contact with, learning from even your community and the people that you're growing with. So for me, learning is really, really important. Um, I own a few businesses and I also work with quite a few organizations. But the core of everything that I do really is to support founders, especially those at the startup stage, so from 0 to 2 to 3 years, to help them understand what it means to go into the market, to help them understand what it means to have a brand voice and an identity that people can be able to connect with, to help them really understand that business is a game of numbers, but at the same time, it is also about the value that you bring to the market and the way you impact people's lives. So for me, business is about social enterprise, right? It's about impact and profit. It's not one over the other. It's about doing the two together. So that is the best way I think I can introduce myself. So I have about 7 points to share when it comes to the lessons I've learned, right? When it comes to business resuscitation in a pandemic. However, before I share that, I just want to share like a snippet of my story and how, the pandemic really affected us at my main business, which is Lumo Naturals. And I remember this was January 2020. Already there was a bit of conversation about the pandemic in 2019, towards the last quarter of 2019. But I think most in other parts of the world that are not in Asia were not as aware of the situation as we got to be in 2020. So yeah, we were hearing COVID-19 on the TV and radio, but we thought it was something happening in faraway China, right? There's no way it would get to us. However, in 2020, we realized that really the world is a global village, because every day you have connecting flights, you have people traveling. There's a lot of movement, and because of that, of course, we're talking about a pandemic, something that is communicable, that is in the air. So people are coming in from China and connecting through other parts of Africa and coming to Nigeria, or even coming directly to Nigeria from China. And before you know it, COVID was here with us, right? The reality just hit us. And we were just coming back from the break in January, and the conversation has started happening around COVID is coming into Africa and there might be a lockdown and this and that. And while we're still trying to catch our breath, I think this was in March 2020, it was announced that there was going to be a lockdown. Now, to give you context, for us at Lumo Naturals, one of the things that we've started to do since 2018 was to try and do what we call community funding. So the cash flow for our business is actually gotten from investors that believe in our brand and want to sort of like invest some money away. So we usually collect some chunk of money at the beginning of the year, and the idea is that we would be able to use that money to grow our business and actually give our investors a profit at the end of the year. This is usually something we do over a period of 10 to 12 months, so your money is not stuck with us for a long time. At the end of every year, we pay you out. And so by the time lockdown was announced, we had already collected people's money in January. We had already bought all the raw materials and bought all the equipment and paid for stuff that we needed to pay for. So we didn't have any cash flow. We only had raw materials on ground, and time was ticking, right? We needed to pay people out. So that was one aspect of, our frustration. Now, the second aspect is, even though we had all these things ready, our business is a business that requires people to come out, right? Even though, yes, we offer home service, for a pandemic, it doesn't make any sense. It's not safe for you to send your employees and your team members into other people's houses, because you do not have control over the environment. So our business, a hair salon, is a business that requires people to come out. And so if there's no movement, then we are not making any money, right? We're not like a digital platform. We don't have any services that you can just take. Like, even to make the hair product itself, you need people to be out, because then you need to go to the lab, then you need to formulate and all of that. And so we were stuck with people's money and raw materials, but we had no customers to be able to pay back. What was even worse was the level of hunger that hit a lot of people in a lot of places. And so I was getting calls from my team members saying, we don't even have any money to buy food. And even if we did, we were not able to go to the market. So there was a lot of hunger, there's a lot of panic, there's a lot of fear. And I remember during that time, a lot of people were online a lot, right, sharing their anxiety. And something caught my eye, right? I was part of a book club, and something they said about reorganizing your team members to ensure that they're still doing something and engaging them. That way they don't get, depressed, or, they don't just get into a black hole when it comes to, their mental health. And so I reached out to my girls at the time, and I said, listen, this thing that we're used to, it doesn't look like it's changing now, right? Because after the first 2 weeks, another 2 weeks was announced, right? And then I think the third time it was like, it was still a lockdown, but it was sort of like reduced and relaxed a bit. So I said, we need to think outside the box. What can we do to ensure getting some money, right? We can't pay a salary now, but how do we ensure that people are still getting paid something and they're still able to survive? And so we put on our thinking caps, and one of the things that we came up with was making sure that we're able to pinpoint clients that we have that are around the area where our team members are. And we changed our system into a salary system to a bonus system, right? And that way, when you're able to engage with the client and you're able to either give them the service or sell the product to them, you get a bonus automatically. So you don't have to wait till the end of the month. So you have some money to be able to sustain you. And we did that for, I think, about the first 6 to 8 weeks of the lockdown before we were able to come back. Now, even when we came back, there was more shock. Now, the shock we had was people were still scared to come out, right? And apart from that, people were not sure of how safe it was for them to come and interact with other people. So normally the salon is run as an appointment-based salon. However, there are cases where people would walk in. Now, we had a lot of our clients saying, how am I sure that the next person that is doing my hair at the same time I'm doing it is actually taking precautions, right? So now we had to reduce the amount of slots, right? Remember, we already have time going, we have bills to pay, we have investors to pay. But then now we have to also reduce the time slot. So if usually we would be able to service 4 people at once, now we had to reduce it to 2 or 1, just so that we can be able to social distance and ensure that our clients feel safe. So we had to take that measure. So even though we're open, we're actually making way less than we were pre-pandemic, right? And then while that was also ongoing, we also now had to look at the fact that a lot of people were tight with money, right? Even if they had the money, they were now trying to rationalize what they used their money for. So even though washing their hair was important, it wasn't necessarily a priority, right? Food was more important, security was more important. People were looking for other ways. Making my hair, well, I can wash my hair at home. A lot of our clients were opting to wash their hair at home. So they just bought the products and just wash their hair at home, and they just come in just to style, right? And the frequency also of the people that were coming in. So if you had a client that was coming in weekly and spending, let's say, an average of between 50,000, now the client was coming in maybe just once a week, once a month, sorry, and then she was also spending maybe just 5,000 naira. So the reality of people's purchasing power and their priorities became also very obvious to us. And so if we were making around, let's say, 4 million a month, now we're making less than 1 million naira a month, right? Which again made us even more anxious and made things even feel worse because we had a lot of bills to pay and we had we had people that were waiting for us. Now, one of the calls I had to make was I decided early on that I was not going to send anybody away. No matter how bad it got, I will not lay people off of their jobs because I felt like that was like the lifeline they had, right? That was the one thing that was keeping them sane. And one of the things that I really believe to my core is that together is always better, right? Yeah, it's good for one person to succeed or be a success, but it's also better when it's a communal effort. So I made that decision not to send anybody away. Even if we didn't have money directly to pay salaries, we would find a way. Even if it meant that I will not, get a salary or I'll get a salary cut, then I would rather do that, which is what I did. So I stopped taking my salary from the salon because apart from working as the founder and CEO, I also work as the formulator. But then I decided not to take my salary, instead using that money to actually be able to pay staff and also do other expenses. So that was the first decision I had to make. Now, the second decision I had to make was to be able to talk to our investors and get them to understand the situation. Now, you might think that would be easy because they already knew the reality of what was happening, right? However, in truth, people had already made plans for that money. They were sure that money was coming. And so having that tough conversation to say, listen, this money is not coming because we have bought everything we need to buy, but the money is not coming in yet. So we cannot give you a profit or we cannot pay you back until we have everything intact. So that was like one of the major, decisions we had to make. So two, very, very important decisions we had to make. And I feel like those two decisions really helped us because when we were able to get that extension from our investors, we're able to take a breather and say, okay, now let's work on reviving our company, right? So, and also not laying people off and ensuring that people are still getting paid also really helped to boost the confidence of our staff. So they felt like, this is a place that thinks about me. This is a place that is worried about my growth and my progress. This is not a place that just wants to exploit me, right? And that confidence really made them to be able to give in more. I feel like they gave in more, during that time. And honestly, it's been really, really tough. There's slow weeks that you feel like, oh my God, what am I doing? And then you're having conversations with other business owners and they're telling you, well, I had to lay off staff, or I had to close down, or I had to change my business model and stuff like that. And it makes you wonder, like, am I doing the right thing? Right? So you start to get doubts. However, I would say that towards the end of 2021, right, in the last quarter, I really started to see some bounce back, and that gave me the confidence to realize that we had actually made some good decisions. So having shared that story, now I'll go to the 7 points that I wanted to make, and I'll just bring out my little notebook here. So the first thing that I want to highlight when it comes to business resuscitation in a pandemic is regrouping, right? Don't be in a hurry to just start to provide solutions. No, take a step back, and sit down and assess the situation, right? And after assessing the situation, ask yourself, what is the most important thing right now, right? What is the most important goal that I'm trying to achieve right now? Because whatever goals you had in 2020, 2018 or 2019, right, prior to the pandemic, whatever 2-year plan or 5-year plan you had, the goal has changed. Why? Because the market has changed. And in business, when markets change, you as the business owner has to learn to adapt to market changes. Because if you don't do that, one of two things would happen. One, you would lose a lot of money and you'll not be able to achieve your goal. Or two, you will not even be able to lift off, right? So the first thing is to regroup, right? Go back, take a step back and assess the market. Do your research. Reach out to your customers. Reach out to the major people in the industry. Have conversations with your staff. Have conversations with other people that are also trying to do the same thing that you're doing, right? Which really brings me to a mini point here. That is, as a business owner, right, as someone that is trying to make a mark in the market or in the industry, you cannot afford to be a loner, right? And this time around, I'm especially talking to people that are introverts like myself, right? Those ones that prefer to have their own space, they don't want to talk to anyone. I get it, I understand. However, when you want to serve a market, when you want to serve a higher purpose, you have to understand that there's certain things that you must do if you want to grow, if you want to make the impact that you set out to achieve. And one of the first things is, do not be an island, right? Do not be an island. As a business owner, you need a lot of alliance. You need alliance from your team members. You need alliance from other people that are in the industry with you. You need alliance from people that are in other parts of the market. You need alliance from people that are your direct and indirect competitors. Because the reality is that all of us are serving the same market. So there's not really competition. What you find is a difference in value and in a difference in how you service the customers, right? But really, there's really no competition. And the reason why I say that is because when you look at the size of our market and you look at the resources that we have to match the size of the market, almost 90% of us are actually micro businesses. We don't even qualify to be called small businesses. We're actually micro businesses because we do not have enough resources to be able to service even 1 million people. And 1 million people in a market size of 200 million people is less than 1%. So if you do not have the resources to be able to service at least 1% of the market, you are actually not a small business owner, you're a micro business owner, right? If your business is not making more than $40,000 in a year, then you are a micro business, right? Now, as a micro business, like I said, you cannot afford to be an island. Why? Because for you to be able to hit the targets that you want, for you to be able to grow sustainably, for you to be able to scale fast, you need to network, you need to know people, you need to have conversations, you need to understand market trends, you need to understand what people are thinking and what exactly they need from you, right? You need to understand the psychographics of the market, which is really the core of it. Okay, so first things first, go back, regroup, take the time to understand and research the market. In a pandemic, when you research, one of the major things that I find, the top thing that people are looking for is comfort, right? Because there's a lot of panic, there's a lot of confusion. So they need something comforting. They need something to make them feel better. If you look at the trends, especially at the beginning of the pandemic, people that were selling fast food, or people that were selling junk food, or people that were selling hot food really made a ton of money. Why? Because people wanted something to comfort their soul. So anybody that was selling cakes, that was selling pastries, that was selling sweets, ice creams, stuff like that, they made a lot of money at the beginning of the pandemic because people wanted something to comfort them. They wanted to feel safe, right? Because outside there's no safety. So they came back within themselves. And the first thing that people think about when they think about safety universally is food, because it's something that goes directly into your soul. It doesn't just fill your belly, right? So that's the one thing that is really important to people when you look at when you do your research in a pandemic. Now, the second thing is trust. People want somebody that they want to look out to. They want to look up to someone that knows what is happening, or can give them information, or can hold up, that fear that they have, can allay that fear that they have. So now these are the two things that your brand needs to look at when you're trying to grow in a pandemic. First, how do you ensure you comfort people? Second, how do you ensure that people get to trust your brand? So research is really important. So that's the first point. Now the second point is support, which is also sort of tied to what I said the first time, right? You've done your research, you've understood the market, you know what the market brand, whether you're a fashion brand, a food brand, a beauty brand, whether you're delivering a service, you understand what the customers want from you. Now, how do you ensure that you give them the support that they're looking for? Again, if you notice during the pandemic, so 2020/2021, a lot of people that you were following, essentially like coaches and stuff like that, decided to do a lot of accountability groups and a lot of community building, right? If you notice, they decided to do things like pay 5,000 monthly to be part of their community, pay a certain amount to be in their classes, and then they were doing a lot of email marketing. They're trying to reach out to you, telling you stories, trying to build your confidence. This is all part of support, right? Because again, like I said, you know that the market needs trust and it needs comfort. And the way you're able to provide that is by building a community. So a lot of people decide to build community, right? And I would tie this to what I was saying earlier, which is, at a time where there's crisis, people are looking for a leader. They need somebody to say, I know what to do. Let's go this way, right? Now, the kind of leadership that the people would need from you in this case is in terms of support. They need you to be able to say, I'm a fashion business. I know that you're not able to buy a lot of clothes, going out. And really, I think the fashion business is the one that suffered the most because people were not going out anymore, right? So I'm a fashion business. I know that you're not able to buy all the clothes that you needed to buy. However, if you buy, this amount of clothes from us, we're able to fix, X amount of your clothes, or we're able to change your zippers, just give people something that makes them feel like this brand cares about me beyond just making money from me all the time. So support is, my second point. Now the third one is communication. Again, remember I said there's already fear, there's panic in the air. If you were supposed to deliver something to someone and now you're not able to deliver it, please communicate. Listen, because of the pandemic, our suppliers are not supplying the fabric anymore, so we are not able to provide this for you. Can we actually just do a refund, like a 70% refund? Or if you prefer to keep the money with us, can you give us an extension? I cannot give you a timeline because I don't know when this is going to get better, but can we do that? And I saw a lot of businesses actually giving refunds during the pandemic because you were not sure what was going to happen, right? There was so much chaos and confusion and uncertainty in the air. So Of course, giving a refund was a good idea. However, apart from a refund, you can actually have a conversation with your clients and say, if you don't need this money now because I've already sunk this money in, can we actually do this for later? Which is what I did with my investors. I communicated the situation to them. I gave them a new timeline. I told them that the reality is that things might change, and so I needed more leeway from them. So communicate. And I find that, not to generalize, but a lot of Nigerian adults don't know how to communicate. They rather just stop picking your calls, or, just not say anything to you until they're sure. But then the thing about being a leader, again, like I said earlier, is that you need to learn to lead in uncertain times. You need to speak up even when your voice is shaking. So as a business owner, you are a leader in your business, right? You need to show up, right? Especially in times of crisis. Now, the second set of people you need to communicate with are your staff members. You cannot just be quiet and allow them to keep working until end of month and they start, to give you attitude because you've not paid. And then you say things like, don't you know we're in a pandemic, right? I've heard people tell me these stories before. They're like, can you imagine my staff is complaining that I'm not paying them, that I need to increase their transportation allowance. Even me, I'm suffering. And I get that. However, you need to communicate, right? One thing that I've really employed, especially in my business, my main business, which is Lumo Naturals, is every time there's a change or there's a crisis or something is going on, I show up myself to speak to the girls. I don't like tell the manager what to tell them, because what I find is that there's a lot lost in translation. When you tell somebody else to tell someone something, right? There's a lot of the intentions are lost, the body language is lost, the tone is lost, the way the person would perceive the conversation if it was coming directly from you, you lose that. And that can bring in a lot of mistrust. So don't even allow that window, right? Even if you have so many employees that you're not able to talk to them directly, or even if you have certain employees that are very difficult to talk to, right? Try and have that conversation as a group. Okay, sit everybody down and say, listen, this is what is happening, this is the reality, this is how much I'm able to pay now. Can we do it in such a way that it works for everyone? And for us especially, even though we're going through what we're going through in 2020, what happened was that transportation fares shot up. And for me in Lumonachas, we actually offer transportation allowance to our staff. And so even though we didn't have any money, we actually had to increase transportation allowance because um, most of our team members were not able to come to work with the previous amount that we were giving them. So we had to find a way to be able to still provide even more than we were given. So communication is important. And really, most of the times, what I find is that when I have those meetings with them, I usually come to them and I say, listen, this is what is happening. I don't have a solution. Honest to God, this is what is happening right now. I don't know what we're going to do. What do you think we should do? And then we sit down and we talk about it. We talk about it until we find something that works for everyone. And then when we draw up the plan, I say, okay, so now we have agreed that this is what we're doing because of this, right? Is everybody on board? Yes. If anyone still has reservations, we keep talking until we convince the person or we make the person understand why this is what is best for everyone. And then when we're finally on board, then we go ahead and we do the plan. Now, that means that anytime something goes wrong, nobody would say, oh, I wasn't aware, or they made the decision for me, right? Because you were at that meeting, you were present, and you actually contributed to the conversation, right? So communicate, communicate, communicate. I feel like I cannot, see this enough. Now, the fourth thing is, cash flow. Cash is king. If before the pandemic you were somebody that was running away from numbers, somebody that did not want to know whether you were making profit or not, somebody who was not sure whether their pricing formula was working or not, in this time, you cannot afford to do it. I am telling you, you do not have a choice but to go back and sit down and understand your numbers. You must understand whether or not you were making a profit before and how you can ensure that in this pandemic, your numbers still make sense. You might still be posting a loss, but at least you are covering your costs, right? And cash flow, especially. Now, what happens for a lot of people, business owners, is that once they get any money, they are quick to just buy raw materials to be able to tie down their money. In a pandemic, afford to do that. You cannot afford to buy goods worth 1 million naira when you don't have 10,000 naira in your bank account. You cannot afford to do that. So not, that means that you have to take the time to plan properly. You have to say, okay, now before we were able to sell off products worth 1 million. Now we're only able to sell 200,000. It means that I'm going to make sure that the raw materials I'm buying is just maybe for 100,000. And then when people ask or place orders or they want to buy something, I'll say, okay, you need to give me 7 to 10 working days because I need to place an order for the raw materials. So do not hold down or tie down your money in raw materials, please. Make sure you always have cash. Why? Because without cash, you would not be able to keep your business going. So again, like I said, this is the time to understand your numbers. If you need to work with a bookkeeping agency, if you need to speak to an accountant friend of yours, tell them, I don't have money accountant, but you're my friend. Can you do this for me? I'll give you a token. Please look at my numbers, look at my bank statement from 2018 to 2020. Tell me where I'm going wrong. Tell me what I can do to make things better. And you know, at a time like this in a pandemic, it's even more difficult to tell your customers that you're increasing your prices, right? It is one of the biggest fear of any business owner. Most founders that I've spoken to, they don't want to tell their customers that they're reviewing their prices because, of course, people are going to say one thing or the other, and then they're going to make you feel like you're not being empathetic to their situation. But the reality is that you cannot keep running your business at a loss, right? Especially if you've taken so much heat. Now, one of the things that I usually say is when you're doing a price review, especially for a micro business owner, you need to take the time. Again, going back to our first point, you need to take the time to speak to the customers that are very, very key to your business, right? The customers that come in and actually do consistent purchase from you. Now, when I say consistent, I don't mean somebody that comes once a month and then they splurge. No, you need that person that is doing 5K every week. That's the person you need to talk to. You need to tell them, okay, this 5K you're doing, when we do a price review, it's probably going to be like 6.5. Is this something you're comfortable with? Is this something that can work for you? Right? Don't just focus on the people that are doing 1 million or 500K. No, the people you need to speak to are your consistent day-to-day customers. Why? Because remember what I said, cash flow is what we're looking for. So we're not looking for the person that will come at the end of the month and give us 500. No, we're looking for the person that's going to be coming every single day or every single week and giving us some money to keep our business flowing. So again, my fourth point is cash flow is king. Understand your numbers. Now, the fifth point is really taking the time to reassign your resources. Now, remember what I said earlier. If you used to buy raw materials of 1 million naira and then maybe stay without any cash in your account, now you cannot afford to do that because you do not know if you're going to make that money back in the 1 month or in the 6 weeks that you usually would. So you need to reassign your resources. Now, this business only has 500K, for example. Now, this 500K that we have, how do we reassign our cost? Do we really need to be buying, tissue paper, for example? Do we need to be buying snacks for our customers at this time? What is more important is that we make sure that things are running smoothly. The core of our business is still running. We buy all the raw materials that we need, we buy all the resources that we need, and we're also sure that we're able to pay staff, right? One thing that also really helped us in the pandemic, like I mentioned earlier, is moving from a salary system to a bonus system and also a weekly payment, right? So before, people would be able to wait till the end of the month because there was still some money coming in, they were getting tips from customers and this and that. But now people need their money every week because they need to be able to plan, right? Even going to the market was once a week during the pandemic at the height of it. So you need to give people their money weekly. So now you're reassigning your resources and saying, okay, we only have 500K. So even if we don't have customers for the next 2 to 3 weeks, if I'm paying, if all the money, the total money I'm paying my staff, for example, weekly is like 50K, then I need to have between 150K to 200K saved so that whatever happens, I'm still able to pay them weekly, right? So you need to reassign your resources and look at what are the things that are excess that we don't need right now, and what are the things that we need to get right now to sustain our business. Another thing also that you need to reassign your resources for, if you're using machines or you're using raw materials that you need to import. Now, you need to look at how do I get local options, right? How do I get something that is close enough? How do I get something that would help my business still deliver the value that I want, right? So I don't need to import from China, or I don't need to bring it from the US, from the UK, because the dollar is getting high. How do I get a local alternative that is going to help my business and really help it to grow? So that's for reassigning resources. Now, the sixth thing is planning for continuity. Now, because we're in a pandemic, they're only thinking about survival. They're only thinking about recovery. They're only thinking about now, now, now. But as a business owner, you need to also have foresight, right? You need to take the time to look at, okay, with the way the market is going now, that my 5-year plan, or that my 7-year plan, or my 10-year plan might not work. Okay. How do I create a continuity plan? Now, especially because unfortunately, a lot of micro businesses do not have or do not save for rainy days. So they don't really have enough assets that they can liquidate when things get bad. Now, because the pandemic has taught you a lesson, right? A hard lesson, you need to now look at it and say, if this was to continue in the next 2 to 3 years, how do I ensure that my business has enough for those rainy days, right? What are the things that I need to do to be able to ensure that I'm still bringing in some sort of revenue? Now, this is where you can actually do multiple revenue streams, right? You look at what you already have and you say, how can I serve another part of the market using the same thing that I have? Or is there a skill that I have? Is there a byproduct of what I'm already doing that can still bring me a certain amount of customers, or a certain new set of customers, right? So let me give you an example again, like I was saying with the Brief Academy. Now, with the Brief Academy, what we were doing before the pandemic was physical classes. So we're going around states, especially in the north, to actually have conversation with female founders to help them understand their business. So our class was a full class for a whole day. Now with the pandemic, we can't start going to other places, right? We can't start visiting physically for our classes. So we decided that, okay, let's take our classes online. However, by the time we're done with producing the content, paying for the website, and this and that, and this and that, including the marketing costs, the cost of the entire program was too high for certain people. So if we were doing physical class and you're paying maybe 10 to 15,000 for the class, now for you to do the online course, because you have lifetime access, you have to pay between 100 to 150,000, which was not realistic for a lot of small business owners. So what we said was, how do we break this down into chunks? So how do we break it down into topics? So if you want the entire course and you can afford it, why not? But how do we break it down into chunks where you only take a lesson and you pay a certain amount, right? And that was able to really open up even more customers for us. And then while we're doing that, we realized also the market was, again, remember what I said earlier, confusion, looking for comfort and trust. A lot of people were now thinking, do I even still need to do this business? Do I have the energy? What is even the right business to do? I have this amount of money saved. I don't want to put it into the business I'm already doing. Do I start a new business? So people had so many questions, and that's how we came up with the clinic, right? That's how we came up with people actually being able to have a coaching call and say, can I speak to you for 15 minutes? Can I speak to you for 30 minutes? Just so that I can understand my direction, so that I can create a plan, right? Let's co-create something that looks like the future of my business together. And that now became a service that we decided to make into a product. So if you want to speak to us instead of actually taking a class, then you can speak to us. Who do you want to speak to? Do you want to speak to the numbers person? Do you want to speak to the branding person? Do you want to speak to the person that's going to help you understand the market? Do you want to speak to the person that's going to help you with research? And then we now put a price to all those products, right? So now, because we were able to do that, we're able to still service the market, but in different forms. And that now helped us to have more or less like a continuity plan for the next 2 to 3 years as the climate changes, as the market grows. So again, like I said earlier, look at the market, let it tell you what it needs, and that way you adapt to the market. Now, my final point is about visibility and having a voice, right? In a pandemic, one of the things that people usually do, or when there's confusion, one of the things that people do is actually to just crawl back into their shell. They don't even want to be out there. They don't want to gamble on, they don't want to pay for, things that they're not sure of, right? And even people that were running online ads, they were running it out of fear. They were like, let me just do these ads, whether it gives me the not, at least I've done it. Let me be out there. And then when they do the first one and they don't make their money back, they're like, well, there was really no point for me to have done this, right? And the reality is that really, that is actually the time when you need to be more visible. That is actually the time when you need to look at all the different ways that your customers can get to see you and remember you. Remember, top of mind is really, really important, right? If you're top of mind, people remember that they need to get your service. If you're top of mind, people remember to refer you to people. If they don't see you around, they forget you. That is really the reality. And so this is actually the time for you to really position yourself properly, right? And have a brand voice that connects with people and connect with people on different levels, right? So you need to look at all your communication channels. If before all you were doing it was Instagram, now you have to do Instagram, WhatsApp, Telegram, email. You need to do video. You need to do pictures. You need to do a little bit of humor. You need to engage people on different levels. Let people really become immersed in your story and understand your voice. And so wherever they are, when they hear your brand, they say, oh yes, this is what I associated this brand with. This is what I associate this brand with. This is what this brand can do. This brand can deliver. This brand can do this. This brand can do that. That is what you want. You want people to be able to literally live and breathe your brand, because that way it is easier for you to cultivate them as loyal customers. That way it is easier for you to cultivate them as people that really get the value that you are trying to bring into the market. So be visible and make sure your voice is clear, and make sure that the voice that, or the messaging that you're trying to give, remember what I said earlier about psychographics, the messaging that you're trying to bring into the market, it's clear. There's no confusion. People are not confusing you for a brand that is trying to do X when what you're trying to do is Z, right? So again, just to go through the points that I said earlier. So let me read through them. The first point is regroup, take the time to do research. The second point is support. Make sure that you are a source of support to your community and to your customers, and especially to your team members. Third, make sure you communicate clearly and properly. Fourth, cash is king. Remember your numbers and your cash flow. Five, reassign your resources just so that you are doing the right thing to grow your business, especially in a pandemic. Six, plan, have a continuity plan. And finally, be visible and have a voice that is really clear. So those are the points I wanted to share with you. I hope I made some sense to someone. I hope this was a helpful session. I really apologize again for the confusion at the beginning. But if there's anything I want you to remember as I close this session, is really what I said at the beginning. And it is really the core of my message. Together is always better, right? As a community, we need to grow together. Most of us are micro businesses that cannot afford to be islands. So please remember to reach out to someone, and be a source of comfort for someone, be a source of support for someone, because I really believe that what you give out, you get back, and sometimes in multiple folds. Thank you so much for listening to me. I don't know, do I take questions, Bashirat? I'm not sure about that. But I think I still have about 8 minutes. If anyone has
Amazing,
questions or something to add to what I've said.
fantastic, fantastic. Thank you so much, Farida. Like I had my pen and I had my memoir, jotting down a lot of, taking notes and lessons from all the things that you've shared. Thank you so much for laying it bare and sharing so deeply and intensely with us. Guys, you got any question for Farida? Farida is here for a few moments to answer your question. Thank you so much for coming. While Farida is bowing out, we have Joseph Pope, Liberian living in Libya, who is coming to share one of the ills, like he's coming to share an important aspect that we don't really look up to, which is actually a challenge that we are going through, in Africa with us, and how we can really deal with that. Thank you so much. So many people are here, they're commenting, they're saying, you certainly did, ma'am. Together we can be better, and everything. Thank you so much, Farida. Also, I remember speaking to Farida on Harry Wright, at some point, and I remember, she kind of gave me a template. We had this phone coaching conversation, and we kind of talked
Yeah.
about at what point you could onboard people onto your team, at what point you need to hire. So it's not like you just say we are hiring, project manager, accountant, this, and you just want to hire all the people that you cannot pay. No,
Yeah.
you hire at the point where you need. Thank you so much, Rita, for all that you do. We're excited. We are happy. I hope this has been valuable to all of you.
Thank you for
Thank you,
having me.
Rita.
Thank you so much. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Hi, Joseph. Joseph, are you ready? Hello, Joseph. Are you ready? Fantastic. Welcome back to the Repossess Battery Conference 2022. I am still your host, Bashirat Abdul Wahab, and right now we are bringing on Joseph Bokwe. Joseph Bokwe is somebody whom I got to know through, I don't know, I just found my online course and keyed into it. And since then, we've never stopped talking about so many things, right? So we've been working together. I remember, when Kokwe joined my writing course, the Millionaire Author online course, and we started to work on his book even after the course. I remember how we had to, even though there was a distance, we put in so much time, so much effort into creating an amazing book cover, designing this book and making sure that it was really amazing. And I remember, that was my first encounter. And up to today, we are in good terms, even though, interestingly, I've never met Joseph before. But I'm hopeful that I'm going to meet Joseph soon because he's just an amazing human being who is so passionate about Africa. So I'm bringing on Joseph very soon. But before then, I'm just going to read up his brief bio. Joseph Success Spokwe is a librarian based in Libya. He is a public speaker. He is the president of the Association of Librarians in Libya and the interim secretary general for the United African Communities in Libya. He studied Christian ministry in the International Bible College of London. He is an evangelist and a community health worker assigned with the International Medical Corps, Libya. Also studied change management, organization capacity for change. He is the author of A Working Sage and Inside the Collection House. Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome Joseph Success Kwokwe all the way from Libya. Hello, bro.
Hi, how you doing? Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaika. How are you, bro?
I'm cool. I'm cool.
So fantastic,
I'm
fantastic.
happy to be around.
How
Thank you for the
how's
opportunity.
how's Libya today? How's Libya today?
Well, we are grateful to God, and
Okay.
like you said from your presentation at the beginning of the conference, you said this is a gift, and we are here to share in the gift and cherish it.
Hmm.
Yeah, 2020
Hmm.
2022 is a gift to every one of us because so many lives were lost during the pandemic, and we are still around. So we got to give our best to humanity.
Hmm.
So I'm happy to be around, and thank you for the opportunity.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kenneth. So I'm just going to step back and I'm just going to allow you to do your thing. Kenneth, you have the floor now. Take it away.
Thank you. Hi everyone. Uh as already stated by Coach Bashira, I'm Joseph Success Pokwe. I'm the president of the Liberian community in Libya and the interim secretary general of the United African Community in Libya. I also work as a community health worker with the International Medical Corps. I'm the founder of the Safe GL, that Success and Friends Engaging Generational Leaders. We have been working on our grounds with abused women, sisters who have been raped, less fortunate people within this environment. And we also have some operations we are carrying on in Liberia. Someone must ask, why am I here today? If you can see the caption of my presentation, Cemetery Without Graves, it is actually a book that was written by one of my mentors, Mr. McDonald Sensing. And I also want to extend thanks to him for giving me the privilege to use the title of his book for my presentation. This is the book, Cemetery Without Grave. I have sent a link to Coach Bachira. She will share it. This book talks about a situation that is happening within this environment. And this is the situation. Young Africans are dying every day, every month, every year in their attempts to reach the European soil. So this book talks about the death of Africans in the Mediterranean Sea. And the question is, how do we stop our brothers and sisters from being victims? This is the reason why I'm here. I'm here to challenge you and myself. Every speaker that will be speaking in this conference, and those of you who have taken up your time to participate, I want to bring a challenge to us. The challenge is to get the right information back home. The issue of death in the Mediterranean, it cannot be minimized. It cannot be totally cut off, but we can minimize it by speaking to the people in the grassroots. Due to the situation back in sub-Saharan Africa, people cannot get work to do. Graduates find it very hard to get connected to stable jobs. Many people have been misled, and they come across the Sahara. Finding themselves in Libya, they are also misled to believe that Europe is all about bread and peanut butter. And for this reason, many of our brethren, many of our brothers and sisters, potential Africans, are dying daily within the Mediterranean Sea. And the traffickers that are bringing these people, they do not give them the right information. A few weeks ago, a Liberian lady was misled and she found herself in Libya. She was arrested, was imprisoned. The same fate Nigerians, Ghanaians, Cameroonians, they are passing through the same situation on a daily basis. So I thought it is wise that we give up this information to those who are participants of this conference so that you can help us out there in Sub-Saharan Africa to give our brothers and sisters the right information about this journey. I will outline 3 points. One is the grassroots, talking to the people from the grassroots. Brothers and sisters, for those of us that are involved with humanitarian services, it is hard time we take on projects that will target people in the villages and rural areas, make them to know that Europe, it is not about bread and peanut butter. Whatever business you are doing in Nigeria or Ghana or Liberia, focus on it. Exercise patience, grow it, and you will get yourself achieving what you want to achieve in life. The trafficker does not have feeding for these people. Imagine someone maybe living in Lagos, have a shop, and the person have to sell everything in the shop to embark on a journey to Libya, because someone have told you that from Libya, within 3 hours, you can be in Europe. But that's a lie. Even the journey from Nigeria to Libya, it is very terrible. Because you have to plow the desert. And in the desert, there are armed men that are loose with a lot of terrible weapons. Our sisters are being raped on a daily basis. When they come to Libya, human traffickers get them and put them into brothels. In the process of being in those brothels, some of them become pregnant and they come out with children. They are single mothers, struggling. So when we get to these people in the grassroots and give them the information that, look, the Europe journey you want to step in, this is what is happening. There is no ship that is taking people to Europe. When you come, you are going with a floater boat, an inner tube. And some of these journey takes days on the sea. Just this gone September alone, 23,601 people were returned to Libya. And those people, they were taken to prison. Some of them are still in prison, suffering. So this is why I'm here this afternoon, to challenge you and myself. Those of us involved in coaching activities to help people to discover themselves. Most of the people that are coming on this journey, they are coming because they have not discovered themselves. They don't know who they are. Ignorance. Ignorance is deadly more than HIV. One of the second reason is to save our continent. To save our continent. Lot of these people who embark on this dirty journey, this perilous journey, some of them are good musicians, some of them are good football stars, some of them are fashion designers, but they are being wasted in the Mediterranean. So we need to take on projects that will save Sub-Saharan Africa. My focus is not on those who are already in Libya, because even the people within Libya, some of our African brothers within Libya, no matter how you talk with them, they are decided that they will leave. Just last week alone, there were images on the social media, people that got drowned in the Mediterranean Sea. Even the Libyan security had a dead African baby in his hand, and he was crying uncontrollably. As coaches, as humanitarian, I am here to make an appeal that we can rebrand our projects and include projects that will target the grassroots, to encourage them to disembark on this journey. We are working with the ROM from time to time. Those who are in prison, when they come from prison, we meet them, talk to them, try to sensitize some of them, give them the rightful information. But it is not helping. It is not helping because other people that are involved in this trafficking, they are well connected. Some of them are connected to people within the governing structure around here. So it is not easy convincing people who are already here to let go of their intent to travel. So those of us within the Safe GL, what we have decided to do is to tackle the grassroots issues. There's a famous quote I like to say. It is from the book of Proverbs. It says, when you are in a position to give something of benefit to someone who deserves it, do not hold it back. I believe you and I, we are in a position to give the right information to people who do not have it, people who don't know about this Mediterranean journey. The Mediterranean journey that our sisters are being raped, babies are dying, pregnant women are getting drowned in the sea. It is high time we make it central to our projects so that we can save lives. I was speaking with Coach Bashira a fortnight ago, and she raised a lot of concern about this situation. And I was telling her that the ROM is ready to repatriate some of our brothers and sisters. But the issue is they are not ready to go back. Even those that have experienced prison life after being arrested on the sea, they are not ready to go back. Why? Because before the person leaves Sub-Saharan Africa, the family must have credited a lot of money to embark on the trip. So if it is not possible for them to get to Europe, they find it very difficult to go back home. Now, as coaches, if we are there to provide information and make our programming to work in this direction, I don't think these people will have to sell everything that they have at home to come on this trip. So, viewers and fellow coaches, this is the challenge that I have brought to you. There's just one central point. It's a challenge to you and myself to work at the grassroots, discourage our brothers and sisters who want to embark on a trip to Libya so that they can plow the Mediterranean Sea and get to Europe. Let us try to get this information to them that the journey is a death trap. You will be taken in a floater boat with about 1,000 people, and your chances of reaching Europe is 1%. I will stop at this point, and if there's any question for me to answer, as I have 5 more minutes left in my time, I will take questions. Yes, the people behind it are not ordinary. Thank you for your comment. The people behind it are not ordinary people. Even some of these people, they are taken from the grassroots, from the villages in sub-Saharan Africa. Before they bring these people, they make some of them to take oath. So you see that it's very hard to discourage them. People within the government, people within the security sector are also involved. These traffickers are well connected. So for those of us here working on the ground to discourage our brothers and sisters, even ourselves are now finding it easy to convince them to back off. So in Save GL, what we have decided to do is to work from the grassroots. The publisher of this book, Cemetery Without Grief, he and I, we are coming up with a program that we intend to commence from Ghana, and how to get the grassroots to see things for themselves. We want them to see video images of people drowning in the sea. Because sometimes our people will say seeing is believing. We believe that when they see these video images of how people are drowning in the sea, how babies are dying, even the shores of Libya, the seafront of Libya, you will go and you see human bodies on the sea like fish. We believe that if they see these images, most of them will back off from this trip. Well, the government can take a stand, make a legislation against embarking on such trip, like what they have done with the issue of human trafficking. The government can come up with a law that if you are caught to any of the border points, you serve a time in prison or long sentence. That alone will help to make people to be afraid. And the government should also come up with programming. The government should work along with NGOs. The government should work along with NGOs to come up with programming that will benefit the youth. Our youth are wasting in sub-Saharan Africa. That is the reason many of them are embarking on this trip. The journey is very dangerous. Just few months ago, I think in August, there was a video online about a Nigerian lady, an Igbo lady that was being flogged by some group of guys. These are some of the These are some of the effects of bringing people across the Sahara. When these people come here, there are a lot of things that are involved. I work as a community health worker. Every day we meet brothers and sisters from sub-Saharan Africa who are insane. Some of them are in the mental home. If you see these people, you feel hurt within yourself. You cannot hold back tears. Every day we meet them. So I am appealing to all coaches in this conference to make it to be part of your program so that we can extend the messages to the grassroots. Let them to know that the journey from Libya to Europe, it is not a journey for anyone. People are dying. There might be few people who reach the shore of Europe due to the rescue ship, but it is not an easy journey. We cannot eradicate it, but with the rightful information, we can minimize the situation of death. For your question, I cannot speak in that direction because as of present, I'm not in Liberia, but there are serious legislation against it. There are laws in Liberia against trafficking. As I speak of you, there's a Liberian fellow here in Libya. He's in one Libyan state. I just got information about 2 days ago. He's in one place they call Subrata. He's the one who have been in most recent time transporting Liberian from Liberia to Libya. And I'm trying to work a modality that we can track him, because when he bring these people here, it become burden on me. We have about 7 Liberians who are now in detention. They were caught on the sea. And it become burden because we do not have embassies here. So I'm trying to do my best along with other colleagues within the African community that we can track him. Yeah, I can give you some pictures, but that will be after this conference. You will get those pictures through Coach Bachira. I can promise you I will do my best to give you some pictures, even videos. Pictures will not be enough, but videos of people drowning in the sea, video of where they kept them before the trip. The camp that some of them are kept in, I will give you videos, and Coach Bashira will share them with you.
Awesome, fantastic. Thank you so much, Joseph, for this enlightening session. Like a lot of events going on in Sub-Saharan Africa that we don't even know about. But all we see is sometimes we see in the news that some people drown in the sea, some people were trapped somewhere. And when you ask where were they going, who sent them work? They're looking for greener pastures, and they say Libya is the fastest route, and this is how a lot of our young people endanger our lives. Realize, it's a lot of it. We hope that this is better and that together all of us can play our own beat. If you have gained something here, use that information that you've gotten here from Joseph today to actually, enlighten a young person who perhaps has been considering going through a very, very dangerous route, all in the name of seeking greener pastures. Thank you so much, Joseph, all the way from Libya. We appreciate you. We're grateful and we feel honored that you come to share from your wealth of experience with us. Thank you so much. God bless you, brother. You have last words, Joseph? Do you have last words? We can't hear you anymore. Okay. I think Joseph's network is acting up. Thank you so much, Joseph. God blesses you. Okay, guys, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for staying through with us for the first session. Our next session starts at 4 p.m. And as usual, if you're registered for this conference, you're most likely going to get a mail from the team sharing information about how to join, sharing the links and also sharing reminders. We have Patricia Uda coming up at 4:20 p.m. to share how we can flourish in adversity. We have a host of other amazing speakers coming on board at 4 p.m. So we cannot wait to see you later at 4 p.m. Until then, go chill, go drink water, go nap or something. Just go relax, and we're going to see you later. Thank you so much for joining, and we're going to see you soon. Bye bye, everyone. Bye bye. See you soon.